Since inauguration, I've been thinking a lot about something that Ben Franklin once said. He was leaving a meeting about the future of the United States, and he was asked, "Dr. Franklin, do we have a republic or a monarchy?" And he answered, "A republic, if you can keep it." Ben Franklin's challenge is all too relevant today. Can we keep our republic? Can we save our planet? Can we build a more just, more free society? Well, the answer actually depends, and it depends on all of you. Now, I remember my graduation. I was interested in service, but I had this sense, or maybe it was a hope, that people older, wiser, smarter, more powerful than me were sort of taking care of the big stuff. This is a myth. That wasn't supposed to be a laugh line, but It is a myth that relieves us of the responsibility to be equal to the moment. It is a myth that relieves us of the responsibility to reach our potential. It's a myth that misunderstands how history is made. It's a myth that comes from Hollywood with heroes and villains that are literally larger than life. But it is a myth that you must kill. There is no one older, wiser, smarter, more powerful than you figuring these questions out. The future is on you. The world needs you to do what you can with what you've got. You have been taught for much of your life that your job is to do well. Fair enough. But now your job is to do good. And that's the difference. That's what graduation and commencement are all about. Do well if you want, but make certain that you do good. There's one more person I want to tell you about. It's my dad, Dr. Brian Schatz. In the 60s, he was right out of medical school starting his career, and he read an article in a medical journal about a study on syphilis. The researchers approached a group of African-American men in rural Alabama and offered them free health care. But what they really wanted to do was to study syphilis. So of the 600 participants, about 400 of them had the disease, which can be deadly. And instead of giving these men the proper treatment, the researchers withheld the cure for decades, all so that they could, quote, observe the disease process. My dad was outraged, and he did the only thing that he could. He wrote a letter to the author of the study and the United States Public Health Service. Frankly, it wasn't a satisfying moment of protest. He never got a response, and in typical fashion for my father, he never told anybody that he even wrote the letter. But years later, the media found out, the Congress found out, and eventually the United States Public Health Service was prohibited as a matter of law from ever withholding medicine from sick people for the sake of research. And here's the thing for me. My dad could have easily not sent that letter, thinking that someone else, someone more important, someone more powerful, a medical ethicist, a journalist, a member of Congress, someone else must be in a better position to do something. He could have decided that because a letter was such a small thing to do, that maybe it wasn't worth doing at all. After all, who was he to try to fix that? But without my dad's small act, history would be different. And without Teresa Shook from Maui, there might not be a resistance or a women's march. And without Tony DeBrum, the planet might be in greater peril. They all did what they could with what they had. Every day is going to give you a chance to change the world, but it's not going to be clear when your moment arrives. I mean, life isn't a Marvel movie. When your opportunity for courage and leadership presents itself in an obvious way when the bad guys show up with ominous music. What do you do when human rights and civil rights are undermined during your comfortable life, minute by minute, sliver by sliver? What do you do when the sea levels rise millimeter by millimeter? What do you do when you see injustice, but your life is becoming more successful by the day? You do whatever you can with whatever you have.